Welcome back to the Middle Eight Football Podcast, the fastest 8 minutes in sports. I'm your host, Joe Burks. Let's dive in to this Thursday night matchup that happened last night between the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins. Happy Halloween. I am quite obviously dressed up for the occasion. It's a shark, if you can't tell. Yep. Got a fin and everything. It's pretty cool. But let's go ahead and dive into this game and some takeaways. First off, not a good Thursday night game. We've had some good ones this year, but this one wasn't very competitive. I had a feeling once Lamar returned that this Ravens team was going to get back to form. Obviously, we saw last week they got healthy after their bye week a couple weeks ago. And starting off with the Ravens, this was just a vintage game from Lamar Jackson. He went 18 for 23 passing. That's a 78% completion percentage. 204 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and no interceptions. Obviously, Lamar Jackson, when he's at full health, is an MVP candidate. We've known this for years. I think he should have won last year. It's up for debate, of course. But this Ravens team looked very impressive. They looked like the way we expected them to look coming into the season, which was obviously what all Ravens fans were hoping for once they got a lot of their defensive playmakers back who were out with injury. Early in the season, once they got Lamar Jackson back, who obviously suffered that hamstring injury several weeks ago. But that win against Chicago last week, back in Week 8, was just a preview, I think, of what we're going to see and what we saw last night to begin Week 9. The Ravens' defense was back. It was healthy. It looked good. And that continued into this week. The Dolphins only dropped 6 points. The Dolphins' offense, in comparison to last week against the Atlanta Falcons' defense, the Falcons have good defense, by the way. The Dolphins dropped 34 points. Going from 34 to 6, there's just no sense of consistency on the offensive side of the ball at all. We'll get into that later. Just highlighting how good the Ravens defense played last night on all levels. Defensively, they have Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Hamilton on the back end, Aloha Gilman, who they traded for a couple weeks ago, who's looked really good. Roquan Smith at linebacker. They found a gem at the other linebacker spot with Teddy Buchanan out of California, the rookie. Pass rush could be a bit stronger. They traded away defensive end Odafe Owe to the Chargers a couple weeks ago, but Kyle Van Noy is a strong veteran player. Then back on offense, Derrick Henry is back to his old self. He had 119 rushing yards, averaging 6.3 per carry. It's been a little bit of a shaky start to the season for King Henry. The fumbles, obviously, earlier in the year kind of hurt the Ravens in a couple key games, but he looks back to his old self. I don't think he's going to have as good of a season as he did last year in his first year with the Ravens, but he looks like, that powerful running back again. My hot take is that the Ravens are going to win the AFC North. Now that they're healthy, now that they have guys back, it just wouldn't surprise me at all. The Bengals have no Joe Burrow till December. I also don't consider them playoff contenders with that defense. The Steelers look super shaky. They've lost a couple in a row. Their defense also looks pretty bad. And the Browns have a good defense, but their offense is just really bad, it seems like. And the best part is that the division-leading Steelers only have 4 wins. They're 4-3, I believe. So this division is already clearly within reach with half the season left, the regular season, that is. So it's entirely within the realm of possibility. I think it's going to happen. Moving on to the Dolphins. Breaking news, General Manager Chris Grier and the team agreed to mutually part ways earlier today, it seems like. That was a move that I predicted. I've been predicting it all season, and I think that head coach Mike McDaniel and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa are next to go. Chris Grier did not put a good team together this year. The team, wasn't great last year either. With McDaniel head coach, there doesn't seem to be any kind of consistency with the team. They've been kind of rough for a couple of years now. There were some good moments early in his tenure, but I think it's time to move on. Tua's been very inconsistent this year. He's had a couple really good games and a couple just atrocious benching-worthy games, especially, to start off the season. I think we've been talking about the early part of the season this whole video. The only way I think Tua is the starter next year is if they don't want to move off his contract. If they don't want to eat all that dead cap they would probably have to eat by getting rid of him, because obviously Tua Tagovailoa is somehow getting paid over $50 million a year. That's insane to me. It goes to show you that your young, solid quarterback shouldn't always be getting paid top-of-the-league quarterback money. We saw that the 49ers extended Brock Purdy, but he wasn't given, the biggest contract ever. And it seems like here in a few years, that Brock Purdy contract is just going to be merely league average, because guys are getting paid more constantly all the time. But Tua's contract, he's not even playing close to the level that they thought he was going to. It's a tough situation for Miami. And while Tua has been playing a bit better recently, aka the Atlanta Falcons game, he really didn't play horribly last night, but not to the level that they needed him to. He's still not playing well enough to keep his job, in my opinion. A couple other minor notes. Just some dumb penalties. Ollie Gordon, the second running back for the Dolphins, rookie out of Oklahoma State. He's had a good rookie year. Was called for a tripping penalty when he was in a pass block set. He fell down and, the defender tripped over him, obviously, but it wasn't an intentional trip. No part of his body went up to intentionally trip the defender, and that was called tripping. It shouldn't have been. It erased a big, wide open bomb to Jalen Waddle. It shouldn't have been called. Even the rules analyst said it shouldn't have been called, but the referees, of course, made the wrong decision. And then an early part of this game that stuck out to me where the Dolphins shot themselves in the foot. It was 4th and 1. It looked like they had a good play call dialed up that was going to convert, get them close to a touchdown, maybe swing the momentum. But then tackle Larry Borum false started. Mike McDaniel was livid, leading to a missed field goal from Riley Patterson. And all momentum was lost for Miami after that point. Overall, there's just been no sense of consistency for the Miami Dolphins. Whenever they have gotten to the playoffs, they've looked horrible. You think of that Kansas City game a couple years ago where they just got blown out. So I think it is time to turn over a new leaf, and they're starting to do that with a GM. I think there's more changes to come. Overall, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast today. Happy Halloween. Go out, celebrate, have fun, stay safe. Don't forget to follow the podcast on all social media platforms, and I'll see you guys in the next one.